An early morning on the frozen pond. Crisp, fresh air. Hockey at its purest. But for most kids, hockey means long hours spent in indoor rinks, where the air they breathe could be dangerous.
It was just very scary not being able to breathe. I actually prayed that night, just hoping that I'd be alive in the morning.
In January, the East Lake High School hockey team took the ice here for a practice at the Tampa Bay Skating Academy.
Maybe after about 10 minutes, there was a haze over the center of the ice, and I actually tapped on the glass to the Zamboni driver, and I said, "Did you guys change the lights in here? The lights are normally a white color, and they looked yellow."
I was playing normal, and then halfway through the practice, my chest started feeling weird, and I had trouble breathing.
My chest was hurting. I just felt out of shape. Couldn't keep up with the drills and everything.
The team manager was there, and she said, "Why are you holding your side?" And I said, "Either I'm having a heart attack, because I was feeling very, very winded, or I broke a rib, because I was actually scrimmaging and banging around with the guys a little bit." I said, I don't feel right."
In the last 6 months alone, nearly 200 people across the country have become sick from an unexpected source. The emissions from ice resurfacing equipment at their local rinks. These machines run primarily on propane or natural gas and are relatively safe. But improperly maintained, they can leave a trail of dangerous emissions, making it hard for kids to breathe.
It feels kind of like someone's pretty much just choking you or something.
Poorly maintained ice resurfacers can release dangerous levels of carbon monoxide and nitrous dioxide, making skaters sick immediately. They can also emit ultrafine particles, which have more long-term effects, especially in rinks with poor ventilation. These particles build up on the ice and, once inhaled, deposit deep in skaters' airways. Studies have shown that after repeated exposure, this can cause asthma and even heart disease.
We noticed that the prevalence of asthma was very high among the skating population, with speed skaters, figure skaters, hockey players, maybe 4 to 5 times higher than in the general population. The rate of lung function decay is very similar to what you see in smokers and heavy smokers.
During our investigation, E60 tested 34 rinks in 14 states, from Massachusetts to Minnesota, Florida to Colorado. Of the rinks that use propane or natural gas resurfacers, we found nearly 1/3 had dangerous levels of carbon monoxide, nitrous dioxide, or ultrafine particles. One of those was that rink in Tampa where East Lake hockey players struggled to breathe during practice. And as the night wore on, their symptoms worsened.
Right before I was going to bed, I cough up some blood. I go to the bathroom, brush my teeth. I see this red stuff, so I call my mom and my dad, and they walk in, and they're like, and I'm like, "What is this?" And they're like, "It's blood."
It was scary. I actually thought I might die. You couldn't take deep breaths because then you'd cough a lot, but then you couldn't exhale all the way either.
And I was up an extra 2 hours just laying there, please God, nothing major would be wrong. I really didn't want to get really sick. I think that dying was a possibility.
Doctors determined that members of the team were suffering from nitrous dioxide poisoning. Rink owner Nick Flaske's response was to release a statement about the incident, which he also handed to us when we approached him in March.
Do you mind if I ask you some questions about the investigation and what happened?
That's what happened, and that's it.
Okay. Well, we wanted to ask you a little bit about what you're doing and what you've done in the time since.
I have nothing further to say about it.
Can you just tell us a little bit about what you're doing to make sure this doesn't happen again?
No.
Okay.
That's the statement I'm making.
Okay. Just want to let you know also that we tested the rink this morning, and because of the emissions, the particle levels in the rink are about 100,000, and 60,000 is what's considered dangerous. So I want to know what you're doing to protect the kids who skate at this rink.
You tested the rink?
Yeah.
E60 found the carbon monoxide and nitrous dioxide levels safe, but the asthma-causing ultrafine particle levels were alarming. Flaske questioned our results, so we offered to retest the rink in front of him.
So it starts at 0.
Go ahead.
You can see it's already climbing up. Now, say it's supposed to stop at 60,000 is the danger level. As you can see, this is already ticking to 89, 90,000, 95,000.
Well, your equipment is defective.
Why do you feel the equipment is defective?
It can't be right.
Why not?
We've been taking readings all day.
Are you taking readings of particle levels from the emissions? Or are you
take
taking
them twice
just...
a day. We're taking carbon monoxide and nitrogen dioxide.
Are you aware that there's another danger, that if there's particle levels in the ice of over 60,000 and where yours are almost 100,000?
Your equipment is defective.
I don't think the equipment is defective. This reading is 97,000.
Yeah, okay.
Are you concerned at all about the kids who skate in this rink?
We are concerned. We've been here for 12 years operating this rink.
Our equipment had in fact been calibrated by Pine Environmental Services, one of the country's largest vendors of monitoring devices. Flasque still insisted his rink was safe.
The children here are not in any danger.
You had 20 kids who got sick.
According to you.
Well, according to them. You had kids coughing up blood. You had the coach of the team said that he felt like he had a heart attack.
Oh my. According, the same kids played hockey the following night.
Some of them did, some of them couldn't.
The same kids played hockey the following night.
Some of them couldn't play hockey the following night. One of them was too sick to play after being in the hospital the night before.
Okay, so now, you have your great expose. Thank you very much. The children here are not in any danger.
Hours after retesting the rink, we showed Flasque's comments to several of the mothers of the boys who'd been sick.
What do you guys think when you see that?
Oh, his whole arrogance and just his whole brushing the thing off. I'm appalled. I mean, I'm really upset. And it just amazes me that somebody can act that way and wouldn't show some concern.
Yeah, those boys played the following night. Those who could, they tried. But I know 2 of them went right from the game back to the doctor's or emergency room.
Yeah. The incident in Tampa also left these mothers wondering why they were paying thousands of dollars a year for their sons to play at a rink where the air quality wasn't safe.
I'm paying him, he's poisoning my son. It's as simple as that. That's what I call it, paying to be poisoned.
The Tampa families are not alone. Last December, carbon monoxide poisoning sent 10 people to the hospital at a rink near Indianapolis. In January, firefighters evacuated a rink outside Denver when carbon monoxide levels reached 10 times what's considered dangerous. And in March outside Cleveland, a poorly maintained resurfacer sent 100 people to the hospital and forced 4 teams to withdraw from a college tournament. And then there are some rinks that have not had an emergency occur yet. But skaters are still being exposed to dangerous emissions day after day, week after week. At the Shenango Ice Rink outside of Binghamton, New York, E60 found high levels in all 3 emissions categories, most notably carbon monoxide. Most government regulations categorize anything above 35 parts per million as dangerous. At the Shenango rink, it was near 60, enough for flu-like symptoms to develop each time a player takes the ice.
When you walk in, you could taste it, you could smell it, you can see the air. Like playing in your garage, but everything's shut in the car running.
We spoke to the rink's owner, Scott Soule.
We just tested the CO, the carbon monoxide.
We told him he had dangerous levels of both gases and ultrafine particles.
I have an air handler that kind of, circulates the air. The Zamboni also throws all exhaust up.
Right, but it's obviously not working if the air quality is at such a dangerous
testing where?
level. We're testing the rink where the kids are.
You were on the ice?
Yeah, we went on the ice.
You did go out on the ice and tested it with your equipment?
Yeah.
Do you have that on video too?
Yeah, we do.
Okay. I mean, what do you want from a consumer that, we do the best we can to handle the air situation? This is the first time in how many years that the rink's been here that anyone's come in and had an issue.
Like many rink owners, Soule says he can't afford to replace his ice resurfacer, which would cost more than $80,000 brand new. Although simply tuning up a resurfacer to meet safety standards usually only costs about $1,500 a year.
If you can't afford to run a safe rink, should you be in this
Then
business?
shut her down and then look at all the thousands of people that are trying to play the sport and, lose out.
I mean, that's just unacceptable. If somebody knows that their facility is unsafe, they have an obligation, I think morally and ethically, to fix it immediately.
Dave Ogren is the executive director of USA Hockey, which brings in nearly $20 million annually from its nearly 600,000 youth and adult hockey members. USA Hockey has no direct control over the nation's 2,000 rinks. They do offer a voluntary course on safe ice resurfacing, but only 20% of rink owners have taken the class.
Some of the data that you've presented to me here today makes me realize that we have probably even more that we can do with the facilities to make sure that their air quality is safe for everybody that's going in there.
Only 3 states, Minnesota, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island, have laws that regulate air quality in rinks. But after our interview, USA Hockey told E60 they sent letters to the governors of the other 47 states, urging them to adopt similar legislation. Suzanne Condon wrote the law in Massachusetts.
We have the highest rates of pediatric asthma anywhere in the U.S., and that was a driving force for us. But more importantly, how can we make children more comfortable participating in a sport that they love so much?
In states and counties that have regulations, our test showed carbon monoxide levels nearly 10 times lower than in states that don't. We also tested rinks with electric ice resurfacers, which are a much cleaner option than those that run on gas or propane. Electric resurfacers are twice the cost, but in the 6 rinks we tested that used them, there were minimal levels of asthma-causing ultrafine particles and no emissions of carbon monoxide or nitrous dioxide.
We can't continue to allow children to go into facilities that are poisoning them.
Mike Fasano is the Florida state senator whose district encompasses the Tampa Bay Skating Academy. A week after seeing the results of E60's investigation, Senator Fasano began drafting legislation to require Flasque and all the other rink owners around the state to keep the air in their buildings safe.
He's the perfect example, sadly, of why we now have to pass a law to force him and force every rink in the state of Florida to inspect and make certain that their ice resurfacing machines, that they're not, spewing poisonous fumes in the air and killing people. It has to be a priority. No ifs, ands, or buts. There are lives at stake. Children's lives at stake.
Still to come on E60. The best batting stances in baseball and the guy who can do them all. Next.